everyone, Renee here, and for today's video I've partnered with the Inkey List to give you a brand navigation, is what I would call it. So the Inkey List finally lands on US soil today at Sephora. It's gonna go fast because right now there isn't any other skincare brand at Sephora that is quite this affordable. First time this brand came on my radar was when the founders visited New York last year. And then after that, they just had this huge launch in the UK. And that's when I started getting so many requests about my thoughts and to review these products. So Mark and Colette, who are endearingly down to earth, super open and transparent. And it turns out that we actually have a similar background in beauty, so we kind of speak each other's language. But their concept really resonates with me. The brand was developed for people who are just really interested in skincare and don't necessarily want to spend all that money to explore. So this is just a very accessible way to get good ingredients, good formulations, concentrated formulations for people to use and discover and find the products that work best for them. As you know, we talk so much about skin tuition on this channel. A lot about finding the best products for you does take a little bit of experimentation. So you can do this guilt-free. So today I'm going to give you an overview of all 19 of their products. I'm going to tell you what it's for, who it may benefit the most, why you might need it, and how you should use it. This brand is cruelty-free, and for you vegans amongst us, every product with the exception of 2 are free from animal byproducts or derivatives. There's also no added fragrance in any of these products. So one of the first products I want to try is a bit of an unusual choice, but I really felt my routine could benefit from it, and that is the Q10. CoQ10, in my opinion, is just such an underrated but powerful antioxidant. We're always hearing about vitamin C. Understandably, I personally can't get enough antioxidants in my skincare routine. They are just really great for age defense, really great for environmental defense. This is another one of those enzymes that are naturally occurring in the topmost layers of our skin and, of course, diminish as we age. So what this does is protect us from the kind of damage that can accelerate the wear and tear of our skin, the signs of aging. If you're someone who can't tolerate vitamin C and you don't really have hyperpigmentation issues, dullness issues, then this is a fantastic antioxidant alternative. This was an easy incorporation into my routine, especially during the fall and winter when I started using it, because the texture is just so silky, heavily hydrating. All skin types can use this. It's great for maturing skin. It's great age defensive skincare. So even if you're seeing the first signs of aging, if you just want to incorporate antioxidants, a powerful antioxidant into your skincare routine, if you want pollution defense, environment defense, then this is a good one to consider. Collagen serum is a bit misleading because it doesn't contain any collagen. This is about preserving the existing collagen in our skin to maintain firmness and elasticity. So this is a peptide serum aimed at age prevention. Collagen, as you know, is what keeps our skin firm, supple, and resilient. So this contains Matrixyl 3000 as well as Syntax. These are skin-available peptides that mimic collagen and keep our skin nice and plump. The texture of this, so hydrating, such a pleasure to spread over the face. Sinks in super fast, easy to layer. In fact, this reminds me a lot of the buffet from The Ordinary. The inevitable question is, which one do I like more? Which one I think is better? I honestly like them both. I think they're both really good. I can use them interchangeably without a problem. This one does come out to being less expensive, but this is also a simpler formula. Great for all skin types, targeted towards age defensiveness. So one of their newest launches is another peptide serum, but this one is geared towards mature skin. And this is a very interesting serum. So this is designed to target and treat crepiness in the skin. So if you have a lot of fine lines, then you might want to try this. The texture, first of all, is really interesting. I was kind of like, is this a serum or a moisturizer? It initially comes out very creamy, like a moisturizer, but after you spread it over your face, it actually dries down completely, and everything sort of tightens up and firms up. It's a bizarre feeling. Immediate results aside, this also contains a peptide complex of 7 very powerful age-defensive peptides. So this will treat you immediately and give you long-term results as well. So I would use this after all the hydrating products in my routine, but before moisturizer. Even though this looks creamy, this actually isn't moisturizing. This is for more advanced signs of aging if you do want to see results over time. If it's more about preventative, then I would go with the collagen. The hyaluronic acid serum sold out the minute it dropped in the UK, and it kept selling out and selling out and selling out. It took a while for me to even get my hands on this. This is a very simple, well-formulated, texturally elegant hyaluronic acid serum. So this is a 2% hyaluronic acid serum. This also contains some Matrixyl 3000 as well. So it gives you a little bit of that additional plumping, skin plumping boost, which you can layer this. This doesn't really get sticky. This is a simple formula similar to this. This is less expensive. This is only $6.99, but also I feel like this takes longer to sink in than this does. This just sinks in fast. Another one of their newest launches is polyglutamic acid. And I struggled a little bit with this conceptually in the beginning because not because it wasn't good, but mostly because I did not quite know where it fit in. I am just so used to the idea of hyaluronic acid, and this is also a hydrator, but apparently holds 4 times the amount of weight in water or hydration that hyaluronic acid does. So the difference is this has a larger molecular weight than hyaluronic acid. What that means is that it actually sits mainly on the surface of our skin and binds water to the surface of our skin and doesn't really sort of penetrate into the deeper layers. Not sticky, moisture binding, but it also has this skin smoothing aspect to it as well. It makes the texture of your skin feel very, very smooth. It's very rice bran, and there is rice bran extract in it, which makes this an excellent primer. In fact, I kind of feel like if you have very oily skin and you don't really like using moisturizers, I think this would be perfect. It gives you that finish. It kind of sits on the top of your skin. If you're living in a hot tropical climate or you're in New York in August, this may be all you need for moisturizer under sunscreen. I think a lot of guys would love this as moisturizers, as well as like maybe teenagers that have really oily or acne prone skin. For me, I still don't know quite, haven't figured out quite where to fit this or how to fit this in my routine because I still just reach for my hydrating serums and hydrating toners. And I still need my sort of emollient creamy moisturizers. Moving on to more active serums, let's start off with the acids. So I just want to note that none of these actives, whether they are AHAs, BHAs, vitamin C, or retinol, they will not cancel one another out if you're using them in the same routine. The reason caution should be considered if you're thinking of combining these actives together is that, any one of them on their own can cause sensitivity or irritation. If you combine them, there's just a way greater incidence for that to happen if you're not careful, and that could actually cause damage, and you do not want to cause damage on your skin. The beta-hydroxy acid was such a pleasant surprise for me. It's one of those affordable products that has exceedingly good value, but the application of it is perfect for me. This contains 2% salicylic acid and 1% zinc PCA to really work on excess sebum. And for me, when I use BHAs, I actually only use it to spot treat. I rarely ever need to put it all over my whole face. I just use it around this area because this is where my blackheads are very abundant. Oil-soluble, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. This is perfect for acne-prone skin. I don't get along with a lot of BHA serums. Honestly, a lot of them tend to be quite irritating for my skin, very drying. A lot of them contain alcohol. And around this area where I have a lot of sinus issues and I'm always blowing my nose, it definitely, I don't like stinging. This is super gentle. It is so hydrating, but also the texture is just perfect. It's viscous enough that I can use it to just spot treat and it will stay where you apply it. And it's really kind of smooth and silky. This is gentle, but it's effective and it doesn't dry anything out. It just keeps things really hydrated. This is not drippy or clumsy. It goes exactly where I need it to go, but then it disappears entirely, just sinks into the skin and it leaves like nothing behind. I feel like they really got this right. It's fantastic for combination skin or anyone who just wants to spot treat certain areas that may be more congestion prone or acne prone. I use this at night, but if you have skin that's just really oily throughout the day, you may want to use this during the morning. Just with all acid products, just make sure you're using your sunscreen. I always use BHA as a first step after cleansing before everything else because it has the ability to just get in deep and clean out the pores. So everything else just kind of works more on the surface of the skin. So I always like to apply this first. This lactic acid serum for me is my favorite of all the AHA products in this line. This contains 10% lactic acid, which really isn't a small amount, and probably in any other formulation it would be a lot for me, but this just feels so gentle. Lactic acid is a gentler AHA. It's great for resurfacing the skin, smoothing out the texture, brightening it. It's good for pigmentation, but it's also really good for like holding hydration. It's a humectant, so it does sort of plump the skin out as well. So to me, because this is quite watery, I don't use it in my regular serum step. I actually use this like I would an acid toner. So I use this pretty much straight after cleansing. I will probably feel a very minor tingling. This is really hydrating, but it's just nothing, it's really nothing uncomfortable. And my skin definitely feels really smooth after I use this. I mean, I don't use this every single day, but like maybe a couple of times a week, I'll use this alongside my retinaldehyde. And I feel like it's just sort of even taken my retinol game to a whole nother level where it's just given me a really sort of nice, smooth, glossy skin. Their glycolic acid toner is no joke. It uses 10% glycolic acid. So this doesn't suit my particular skin type as well as the lactic acid, which, is great for my skin. I feel like this is more suited to someone who has tougher and oilier skin. If you're prone to dry, sensitive skin, there are other options available for you. So alpha-hydroxy acids are for those who can't quite tolerate lactic acid or glycolic acid, or if maybe you're a beginner to all of this and you want to start off slow, which is always a good way to go. So this uses natural fruit acids to get the job done. This won't give you the same immediate results, but also won't give you the same possible irritation. But you will see the results with regular, consistent use. You'll see the brightening, the resurfacing. This is also a great gentle alternative when your skin is retinizing and you do want to sort of ease off the flakes and the dead skin. So this and Prism are very, very similar. They actually use pretty much the same fruit acids. It uses sugar maple, bilberry, orange, lemon, except this uses 10% fruit acids, whereas this only uses 5%. They feel as nice as each other. I would say that if you were ever curious about this or how this works, just get this. Texturally, they're pretty much identical to me. Application-wise, identical results. I kind of think this one. The one cleanser that they have is the salicylic acid one, which I personally think is a superstar. This uses 2% salicylic acid, and the pH of this is a very gentle, mild 5 to 5.5. Salicylic acid is still effective in that pH range. I feel like this formulation just fills such a big need in the market, especially when we're talking about teenagers, acne-prone people, people with oily combination skin, and, just anyone in the summertime. This creates a slight foam. It uses coconut-derived surfactants, so no sulfates, nothing stripping. In fact, after I use this, my skin does not feel dry. This also has anti-inflammatory ingredients. It's also got the zinc PCA, but also 0.5% allantoin to really soothe the skin as you cleanse it. I feel this does a great job of excavating those pores. I don't feel like it resurfaces though. I don't think in this cleanser the salicylic acid functions in that way, but that's okay because there are other ways to do that. The vitamin C is a 30% L-ascorbic acid formulation. That's anhydrous. There's no water. So it actually took me about 2 months before I summoned the courage to actually try this. Any normal human being, and this is what I would recommend for people, is to buffer it first, but of course I just wanted to see what it felt like straight on my skin. So I don't know what's going on in this. There was some tingling, but it wasn't really uncomfortable. The areas where I see that there's some discoloration and sunspots, that's where I will use it just to spot treat. You can also buffer this with hyaluronic acid and use it to spot treat as well. If you have dry skin, dehydrated skin, the way to use this would be after your hydrating products, your hydrating toner or serum, and it will just tend to spread better. This doesn't pill. I've used this under oil, moisturizer, sunscreen, and I've had no problem with the pilling. Again, if you're starting out with acids or retinols or retinizing, just don't. Their retinol serum, I have to say, I find the texture of this so glorious, I almost don't even care what's in it. I just want to use it. This is just hydrating, silky, spreadable. It's so refreshing on the skin. It's such a comfort to apply. I would even say maybe a little lightly moisturizing. So this is a very gentle retinoid formulation, which I think is just great for beginners, or if you're someone who is at the start of a retinol journey, you want to sort of move on to retinols and possibly retinaldehyde and tretinoin. This uses 1% what they call Retistar retinol, but it actually contains a 1% retinol compound, and it's a special slow release compound, which would be more equivalent to a 0.05% retinol to your skin. So extremely gentle, non-irritating, but this is combined with a 0.5% gram-active retinoid or hydroxypinocolone retinoid. Because of timing, I only really got to use this a little bit, which was on my off days when I wasn't already using tretinoin. I was already well on my way on my journey there, but I do kind of wish this existed in the beginning of my retinol journey because I really enjoy this. One product that I find this extraordinarily similar to is Sunday Riley's High Dose Retinoid Serum, which is a lot more expensive. Texture-wise, they're both pretty similar. Very hydrating, sort of emulsion serum that's silky, spreadable, and just straight up gorgeous. What they do for your skin is also very similar, whether superficially, because I think in order to see the same kind of results that you might get from retinoic acid or even a retinol, I think it would take a really long time. These are very similar formulations, people. Save yourself 70-odd bucks. Definitely one of my favorite products in this brand is the Caffeine Eye Serum. Again, it's about the application, the texture of it. This is just a beautiful, refreshing, hydrating serum. We're talking lightweight, so comforting to apply. I mean, you could even put this in the refrigerator. It plumps out your skin, but then it also depuffs your eyes, and it depuffs without drying it out. And I know there have been other caffeine serums that I've used that have actually caused some dehydration, particularly on the upper mobile lid. This doesn't do that. I really feel like this does relieve the water retention around this area, and it's going to come in super handy during spring allergies, which is right around the corner. This also has the Matrixyl 3000 peptides, which is just great to be able to use around the eye area just to, sort of puff out those fine lines and be more preventative. If you are someone who really loves the lightweight eye products, maybe you're very prone to milia, then this is perfect for that. Or if you're someone who just needs a little more, this is a great eye serum. It sits underneath anything really well without making it very heavy. This actually sinks in very well. I want to quickly go through the moisturizers. The textures are all very light, but still moisturizing. They're actually so perfect for layering. I'm going to talk first about the turmeric moisturizer. This is the first one I tried because this one is more suitable for my skin type. And what I like about this is it's got some nice plant goodness to it as well. So it has like a very earthy, rooty turmeric scent. This is lightweight, silky, but it is moisturizing. One ingredient that's featured in every single one of their moisturizers is the same one in the Aveeno moisturizers. It's the oat kernel extract. So it is just really great at just soothing and calming the skin down as well. This one is just really anti-inflammatory, but it's also antioxidant rich. I love a good antioxidant rich moisturizer that don't necessarily need to just be in our serums, but it also should be last layer of defense as well. So I kind of feel like the hemp is great for normal to oilier skin types. The formulation is just really similar to the turmeric one. It's thin, really hydrating. I think the turmeric might be slightly richer, but really slightly. Otherwise, I think between these two, you just have to decide whether you want turmeric or if you want the hemp. Both ingredients are anti-inflammatory. Both formulas are very soothing. Again, there's a more natural scent to this that really does smell like hemp oil. And it does have hemp oil in it as well as green tea extract. But yeah. Their newest moisturizer is the Multibiotic, which I have a real soft spot for. Last year, I really began to focus on the biotics and my skin's microbiome health and balance. And it has been such a game changer. I have an entire video on it. But skincare with prebiotics, probiotics, I am all for, whether it's a cleanser, mask, toner, or moisturizer. So this moisturizer has prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. And it is just a lovely, thin, silky, hydrating moisturizer just like all the others. Supporting the microbiome is really about regulating our skin's pH. You don't want it to be too high, you don't want it to be too low. You want it to be balanced because on either end of the spectrum, either you are like super dry, really prone to irritation, easily reactive, or you are very oily, very acne prone, very prone to inflammation. And so this has a good 5% of an ingredient with all the biotics in it called yogurtine, but it also has 2% of a brightening complex to really get rid of dull skin. It does have a bit of that sort of yogurt scent to it, a bit like sour milk, but it's not horrible or anything. If you want something sort of similar but way more lightweight than La Roche-Posay's Toleriane Double Repair Moisturizer, then you really want to give this a go. Although this is more like a serum slash moisturizer because it is pretty concentrated. It's got a lot more of the biotic action. Again, this is one of the products that was always sold out when it launched in the UK. This is their Kaolin Clay mask. When it comes to masks, I either use them out of absolute need because I need a quick fix or just I'm so congested and only a clay mask or an strong acid mask can deal with it. Or it's when I just feel like I want to treat myself and pamper. This is one of those masks I use out of need. Between this and the beta hydroxy acid, this is a dynamic duo together at just really sucking out all the impurities and blackheads. This is a very creamy and elegant clay mask, and what I like about Kaolin Clay is that it's just a bit gentler than all the other clays, so Kaolin just suits my skin way better. This spreads like a complete, utter dream. I actually use this straight after cleansing. If I'm going to use this together with BHA, I actually use this before the BHA. So I just spread this over my nose, leave it for 10 minutes, and then I just remove it with my little facial sponge. They have two oils. One is the rosehip oil and one is squalane. The rosehip oil is organic, it's cold pressed, and it's a great oil because it is, number one, it is dry, so it's not very greasy and really suits all skin types, but also it is a great age defensive oil. It is so rich in antioxidants, including vitamin A. It's thin, it absorbs really well, and this is actually quite aggressively orange, to a point where I feel if you have a very pale skin tone, this might leave a little bit of a stain. This disappears on me eventually, especially when I put moisturizer on. But yeah, I mean, this is the second bottle, and the first one was also quite aggressively orange. Their squalane is organic and derived from sugarcane. It's really either going to be olives or sugarcane. The benefits to it being from sugarcane is that you will get more consistent quality batches. So I've mentioned this quite a few times. Squalane in pure form is not my favorite. Within a formulation, it's absolutely fine, but somehow on its own, it just feels uncomfortable to me. It's just very greasy. It just sits on my skin. It never quite absorbs. But still, it's a very stable oil. But I know that there are people who really love squalane, So I really hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye.